and we're about ready to go here in South Bend. Palazzolo will serve it across. And it'll be set down by Anna Bjork, the freshman middle blocker, to open up the scoring for Notre Dame.
In this match particularly, it's good to have a great start like that. Bjork always ready at the net, even in the first play.
Palazzolo serves once more. Miscommunication there as Velez, their libero, tracks it down for Georgia Tech. Bjork once more with another strong kill.
If you give Notre Dame a free ball, then you are going to have a Bjork beatdown. She is such a presence in the middle of the court, even as a young freshman.
Strong swing by Menges. Straight behind the back to the back row attack of Palazzolo. Gardy kept it alive. Trump flat-footed, sneaks it across. Miliano, their setter, sets it across. Notre Dame back to the attack. Velez down. Gardy on the attack, and Velez once more. Johnson, Notre Dame's libero. Miscommunication between Bjork and Gardy. Gives the Yellow Jackets their first points from Ogridge.
This is just a preview of what we expect to see. Coach Salima Rockwell saying she expects these rallies to be really long between these two teams who are both forces in the ACC.
Talked about how Georgia Tech earlier this week is well-rounded through every position on the floor, understanding that whether you're a pin hitter or in the back row, you can do just as much.
Rockwell also saying that Georgia Tech relies on play in practice, playing games over and over, so their skills are going to be extra sharp because they have that extra, almost like an in-game experience.
Bjork, the middle blocker that serves for Notre Dame. Setting of the middle, Mogridge. Gardy. Velez sends it across the net. Schrader. Up off the block for Gardy. And Morgan Gardy gets a big kill.
Gardy makes it look easy, but it's Fiona Schrader who's quarterbacking that play, moving all around the court to set it up just how Gardy prefers.
Point will go for Georgia Tech after the violation. We'll send Mogridge back to the line. Last week against SMU, hit 1,000 on 4 total attacks, registering 4 kills against the Mustangs. Miliano sets cross court, and Otenye makes Notre Dame pay.
Otenye coming off of a 6-kill, 1 service ace game versus the #1 team in the country, Pitt.
Straight behind the back, up to Trump, and Otenye hits her with the defense.
That was one of the best collegiate stuffs I have ever seen. When you're able to stuff it and a Division I level libero and Hattie Monson falls to the ground, you know that it's a really tough brick wall they're putting up.
Service violation there. Mogridge serves it into the net, and Lucy Trump, a player that really stood out for Notre Dame last weekend, walked away with 2 service aces in their win against Cal last Sunday. How the service error here as it goes long to return the ball over and tie it back up at 5.
And certainly not indicative of Lucy Trump's success from the service line. 11 service aces on the season. But when you have a tough serve like that, there is more room for error. But certainly she's an excellent server. Just a rare miss.
Gardy passes forward up to Sant, and Sant tries to get it to Schrader, and it goes out of bounds. Long serve there from Martinez Casa. And now Morgan Gardy back to serve. Sant tracks it down. Palazzolo runs into it. And Sant will be called for coming over the net on that point. Sant, the transfer setter from St. Mary, spending her 4 years previously, taking her graduate transfer ability here to Notre Dame.
All 42 sets played in both the Stanford and Cal games this weekend, coming off of 3 kills as a setter versus the Golden Bears. Worth noting that both setters on Notre Dame's squad are known to dump it right over and catch that opponent's defense off guard.
Tenye serves. Palazzolo directs it off the block. And a strong swing from the Yellow Jackets. Gets it from Pierce.
Pierce with 51 kills on the season so far, averages 1.34 kills per set. Certainly a force to watch out for at the top of the net.
Palazzolo gets it across to set up Georgia Tech. Light tap by Winford trying to go across. Notre Dame was able to hold off from tipping it to pick up the point. Now Hattie Monson, the Notre Dame libero and captain, back to serve. Some of that over her 4 years. Now 5th year here, Notre Dame has really taken to a vocal leadership standpoint. And Notre Dame, the attack error from Georgia Tech, places them back even.
I do like the idea by the senior middle blocker, Deandra Pierce, going for the slide. That's a really tough play, just mistime that. The set has to be perfect for that to be executed.
Giuliano back in the move. Sant with the strong pass over to Palazzolo. And great placement from the outside hitter for Notre Dame.
That is a really good sign for the Fighting Irish. When you have a set that's not even a set, but more so a backwards dig from Sant, and that's able to be executed properly, you know that they're in a good rhythm in system.
Looking for that open back corner. Sant behind the back, set to Schrader. Miliano goes behind the back herself. Martinez Casas. And Palazzolo once more works it through the block.
This is where Palazzolo's experience really shows. She's not afraid to tool that block. She's a really powerful hitter, has a heavy arm, and will hit right through the seam, and that usually works out in her favor.
Palazzolo last year transferred into Notre Dame from High Point. 2nd year in the ACC and continues to impress. Sant once more going to number 12, and why not? It's working for Notre Dame.
Palazzolo just showing off the toolkit that she possesses. As a senior, she can hit hard one play and the very next play, barely tip it over. Georgia Tech not prepared for that one.
Notre Dame on a 5-0 scoring run currently. Miliano tries to dump it over. Bjork was ready for it. Schrader off the block. Strong swing there from Pierce on the slide. Georgia Tech gets the pendulum back their way.
Pierce getting it figured out. Only 1 kill versus Pitt. She's been trying out that slide so far early in this set and finally placing it just beyond the 10-foot line. A really tough spot for the defense.
And a service ace goes for Georgia Tech in Velez.
Now hitting a 500 for serving 6 service aces and 6 airs on the season.
Sant sets the middle blocker and Bjork. Anna Bjork really continues to impress how versatile she can be for the Fighting Irish, that she can be a defense middle blocker while also be on the attack.
We talk about Palazzolo not afraid to tool the block, but Bjork, so young in her freshman career, she's not afraid to tool the block either.
Strong serve there that turns the service back to Georgia Tech. Emiliano, 12th most career assists in Division I right now with 915 coming into today's contest. As Notre Dame and Anna Bjork are able to find an opening.
4 kills right now for the freshman. She is hitting perfect, has not made an error so far, and halfway through the first set, that's a very impressive stat.
Eliano sets for a strong swing. And Schrader at the last second tries to get a hand on it, but can't change its direction. Menges doing a great job on that attack. Bertolino, the senior outside hitter, with a service ace there.
One of the best servers in the country. That's her 25th service ace of the season. You got to keep in mind, Georgia Tech's only played 11 games, and to have 25 service aces, video game numbers.
Yeah, 10th at the NCAA Division I level, averaging just over half ace per set, 10th and second in the ACC. Really someone that Coach Michelle Collier understands they need to be dominant on their serve. Off balanced, pushed over by Mogridge. Lucy Trump. To Gardy, and Gardy tools the block herself. And Notre Dame has come out firing here in South Bend. They lead by 2 heading into the first media timeout. It should set up for a great Friday night here in South Bend. 4 total attacks tonight, and it's nothing new for the freshman in the ACC, as her season has really shown how much growth she can have in the ACC.
A 404 clip in the ACC, Division I player coming out of high school, the 2-time volleyball mag and Prep VB All-American. To be able to come out and play that well, only the first half of the season as a freshman, is just something that I know Salima Rockwell wants to continue to build for her team. She was a fantastic get in the offseason.
And it talks about, for this Notre Dame team, Bjork was playing high school volleyball last year and now is playing at the collegiate level and is playing at the best, at one of the best conferences in the entire country here in the ACC.
We're starting to see that more in volleyball. There, players are taking it more seriously ahead of high school. You got club players that you have to worry about recruiting, and Bjork is no stranger to the game, as she's been playing a long time, and all of her hard work is proving success for this Fighting Irish squad.
Pena gets it across. Palazzolo went chasing it down. Eliano just gets it across. Gardy with a kill and continues Notre Dame's hot start.
Gardy has such a great ability to slow this game down. It's almost like she was in slow motion during her approach, really taking her time, utilizing her space. That's what makes her IQ so high as a young player.
Free ball over the top of the net. That Velas will pass across. Notre Dame's allowed to get in system for Langer. Pierce with a swing that goes too far out of bounds.
Pierce is really sneaky. Although she's had a couple of hitting errors, she's great off the slide, and she's just trying to pick and choose where she places that ball.
And Haley right now, it looks like that's how Georgia Tech wants to use her, is moving her around that middle blocker position to come on the slide. Great swing there from Menges. That sends Lucy Trump to the ground.
Menges, one of our players to watch, so explosive from the right side where she's the most comfortable.
Menges played with the U21 national team for Brazil over the summer. And Georgia Tech picks up another point. Menges continues her service run. Sant pushing forward to Gardy. And Gardy comes in contact with the net. And now Emiliano is slow to get up for Georgia Tech.
Didn't see what happened there, but she did get up on her own power. Going to take a moment for coaches to check in and make sure she's okay.
Emiliano, senior transfer in from the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, is a key in this Georgia Tech attack.
Came down on that left ankle, it looks like. As soon as the ball went down, she clutched that left ankle. Hopefully she's okay, because she really is a staple for this Georgia Tech team. She's really stepped up and run this 5-1 offense. It was originally a 6-2, but then Emiliano had to step in. So hopefully they can find a replacement for her in this game.
It's going to be Ashlyn Goolsby who comes in, the senior setter who didn't compete last year. Normally comes in for serves. She'll come in to look to play a bigger role right now for Georgia Tech. Morgan Gardy takes full advantage of it to get Notre Dame a 1-point lead.
I don't blame Georgia Tech for taking a moment to readjust. As you mentioned, Goolsby, one of the only players out of Georgia on the squad. She did play versus Pitt, so she is warm. She's recent, getting a rep against the #1 team in the country, but it might take a little bit to reset their offense.
Goolsby, 17 assists so far through her 6 sets played. Pierce gets set in the middle and finds an open corner to get back tied with Notre Dame.
This time Pierce not on the slide, staying put. I love how Georgia Tech is utilizing the middles. The middles are so much more than blockers in this day and age in college volleyball, and Pierce is showing that she's explosive when she stays in place, but also when she's on the slide.
Latene serves it into the net. And now Hattie Monson for Notre Dame back to serve. Schrader off the block, and Fiona Schrader picks up a kill.
Here comes Schrader, her first kill of the match. She's the player who is known for having 6 triple-doubles on the season. Last year, she led the ACC with just 1. She said, hey, I'm going to do that ×6 early in the season. Coach Rockwell calls her the Swiss Army knife, and now she's on the board.
And Coach Rockwell understands how good of a gift she was, and Coach Rockwell's seen the best, comes in after 2 years away from the sport of volleyball in a coaching role, was a broadcaster doing the job we do now. Before that was an assistant at Penn State in Texas, winning national championships. She's seen the best and understands the special aspect that she has to have the ability to coach in Fiona Schrader.
Rockwell is, in my opinion, a perfect coach for Fiona Schrader. Rockwell herself, a 3-time All-American setter at Penn State. She's all over the record books for the Nittany Lions. She said that Schrader reads the block well, which makes her more elite. She's great on defense and couldn't ask for more for her production-wise. When the 6-2 was utilized years ago, this was a little bit more common to have players like Schrader, but now it's more rare. Rockwell said Schrader does not break her stride.
And for Notre Dame right now, they're looking to try and take that next step forward and find that really marquee win under Salima Rockwell. Taking down a ranked opponent could be just that, as they're looking to try and have that happen here tonight. Monson serves it across. Velez receives it. Palazzolo uses the tape. And Fiona Schrader finds an opening.
You love to see a setter setting to a setter. To finish our thought, how rare is that? To have Ella Sant with the dig to Schrader, who uses every bit of that 10-foot line to go up and show that she's a great right side hitter too.
We'll say Georgia Tech came across the halfway line. And it will be a timeout for Michelle Collier and her Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets once more, with Notre Dame 3 points away from capturing this first set. What do you think Collier is saying in this timeout for Georgia Tech?
I think it was a good call to go for the timeout because this has been one of the biggest leads of the match so far. Notre Dame is looking so confident. So to be able to take the timeout, maybe get them a little bit out of rhythm, was really smart by Coach Collier. Notre Dame with a 3-1 loss to Stanford, but able to steal a set from the #3 team in the country. And then for Cal, a win 3-1. You look at Michelle Collier's resume. She knows volleyball, and she knows when it's time to kind of ice out Notre Dame. 11th season with the Yellow Jackets, 204 wins. How about that? Second in program history. She's led this Georgia Tech squad to 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Last year, making a Sweet 16 run before being taken out in that regional round. This team plays on a national level. They're very used to it. And I don't see any signs of them slowing down too much. 4 points in the eyes of Collier is very doable for them to come back.
Yeah, Collier herself, one of the most decorated players in all of volleyball, ranks 5th at the Division I level in history in career kills with 2,729. She played at University of South Florida. Both these two coaches today, they could get out there and play right now with how decorated they are themselves from their playing days, now taking it to the coaching ranks. Monson back to serve for the Irish to try and continue. Goes long there and turns it back over. Well, good timeout from Collier to try and settle her team down and get them back on the attack. Goolsby, it's to Harper. And Bertolino gets a kill.
Bertolino having a little bit of a quiet game. This is her 3rd kill of the match so far. Need to utilize her more if they're going to pull out these set wins.
Palazzolo off balanced, gets it across. Georgia Tech off the deflection has come storming back, and now Coach Rockwell is going to want to take a timeout to talk things over and understanding how vital this first set is, Haley.
Now Georgia Tech is looking to Bertolino. She's out of Argentina. Last year, VB Magazine and ACC All-American honorable mention. All ACC first team. All of her accolades do not fit on one sheet of paper. That's how talented she is. We mentioned her serve earlier, one of the best servers in the country right now. It's no surprise that the Yellow Jackets are looking to her to close this gap a little bit, as she's experienced, she's a senior, and she's played all over the world.
Bertolino has really taken this program to that next level, like we touched on. She became the 7th Georgia Tech player to enter the 1,000 kill club. And you can see where she ranks all time in kills, digs, and aces since the modern era. She really has been a standout star from the moment she got to the flats.
She's played on Argentina's national team as well, which I think makes her such a versatile player, because when you play internationally, it's just a little bit different in different countries. So she's able to bring that back to the States, as well as 6 other international players that Georgia Tech boasts, tied with Wisconsin for the most international players in a power conference.
And Bertolino is someone that Georgia Tech has leaned on over this back half since that first timeout call from Collier. They stand only 1 point back of Notre Dame, trying to capture this first set. Sant down to an E, gets it to Schrader, and Schrader capitalizes.
Schrader with a nice back row hit, able to go down line. She's been going for those cross-court shots, but able to divide up her skill set and go down line towards the back left corner.
Service error there for Fiona Schrader to serve into the net. And it gives the opportunity for Emiliano to come back on to the floor for Georgia Tech after she went away. Had her ankle taped by the athletic training staff and is back ready for more. Bjork changes speeds. Now the block for Notre Dame. A cross-court shot from Lucy Trump puts Notre Dame at set point.
That was really a tough shot for Lucy Trump and perfectly executed, putting it right by the 10-foot line. That's really hard for a defense to get because you're either in the back row covering or in the front row blocking.
Menges gets it across. Gardy. Menges once more. Emiliano keeps it alive. And it's blocked by Notre Dame at the net. They pick up the first set, and the Fighting Irish are feeling it. They understand what...
Look bad, but really they played super well. They were in every single set. And I don't think that those scores were indicative of how good this Georgia Tech team really is. But I will say it is hard to lose your first two conference games and then come on the road to face a Notre Dame team who is at their peak right now.
And then on top of it, you face a peaking Notre Dame team while you look down the road on Sunday to see a Louisville Cardinal team looking right back at you.
Collier scheduling really tough games. I think the reason for that could be, you know, she's preparing her team to potentially go to a 5th consecutive NCAA tournament.
Service error for Notre Dame. Gives Bertolino the serve, and this is what Michelle Collier told us earlier this week, where Georgia Tech could be successful is when she is on the service line. This is their A1 set. But Notre Dame takes command and pushes her off the service line just as quick as she got there.
It's a really great side out by Notre Dame because that was a fabulous rotation from Georgia Tech to have Bertolino, as you mentioned, at the service line.
Tenier redirects it off the block.
Tenier had more of a quiet game so far. That was a little bit of an awkward hit, but the good thing about Otenier is even though it was a little bit of an out-of-system hit, she's still so efficient and able to get those kills.
Service error there for Georgia Tech gives Notre Dame back the serve for Morgan Gardy. Gardy began the year with battling injury. Really, Coach Rockwell believes just getting into the rhythm of playing at a high level of collegiate volleyball. Was with the pass to Menges. Sant back to the back row attacking Gardy, and she'll get subbed out.
Palazzolo has been really successful from the back row, but to be a sound back row hitter, have to place that set perfectly, just high enough for her to get it. Just mistimed approach there.
Sant behind the back, up to Schrader. Emiliano, Odo Tenier. And Palazzolo sneaks it just in front of Menges enough before she could get her platform on it.
Palazzolo now in the rotation where she's really comfortable. She has really good court vision, able to see that donut of the court where it's not being well defended when Georgia Tech's playing perimeter defense.
And Palazzolo sees the open space right there, Haley, and takes full advantage.
2020 volleyball vision, I'm telling you, she sees everything. I mean, it helps that she's really tall, 6'3", but being able to be in that middle position in this particular rotation is great because she's kind of the eyes of the court right now.
Palazzolo puts too much on it there to return it off to Georgia Tech. Looking to try and get on a service run themselves. Notre Dame at one time went on a 5-0 scoring run in that first set. It's been back and forth between the two teams. No one really has separated themselves for a long run. Sant tracks it down, brings it back. Schrader tries to go for the attack over the net, has it rejected by the net.
She is really hitting hard today. You can see that she's using every single muscle, jumping as high, getting that vertical as high as possible. Really nice effort from her.
Bjork gets it across. Ellis with the pass to Menges. Schrader off the block. And a point for Notre Dame.
There's another hard hit and her 4th kill of the match so far.
Touched upon it. Already has 9 assists, Schrader does. 4 digs with 4 kills. Anytime she touches the court, it feels like in 2024, Fiona Schrader has to be on triple-double watch.
What's crazy is that's the new norm for her.
Yeah. Great point there for Notre Dame, flirting with the out-of-bounds line and hits the hardwood.
And while we're at it, Schrader says, hey, I can serve too. Quadruple double.
Whoa, whoa. Wow, Haley, we're getting wild now. We're getting wild.
If anyone can do it, it's Schrader.
At the top of the net, Meliano close to the net. Passes far side to Bertolino. And Bertolino gets back on the attack for Georgia Tech. Bertolino sees the opening in the cross court and gets them tied with Notre Dame at 7. Velez, the junior transfer in from Trinity Valley Community College, and the libero serves it across. Palazzolo through the block. Bertolino finds an opening, kept alive by Dockery. Monson gets it across somehow. A layout from Dockery once more. It's over the net. Meliano gets it to Mogridge, and Georgia Tech is able to capitalize. Notre Dame was on the back burners the entire way, trying to keep themselves alive, but Mogridge takes full advantage.
What an exciting rally, and MVP of that rally goes to Luana Emiliano. She is setting dimes to Mogridge. Perfectly timed one set. That's really hard. Your set has to be perfect.
Notre Dame responds right back. This is what we've been talking about. The back and forth contest we've seen. No one's really separated themselves. Just as quick as Georgia Tech gets one, Notre Dame responds.
The highest lead has only been about 4 or 5 handful of points. And for each of these teams, they've come back from further deficits earlier in the season. So this is kind of light work for them to just be 1 or 2 points differential from each other.
Schrader behind the back to Trump. Notre Dame with the block from Lucy Trump and Anna Bjork.
Anna Bjork and Lucy Trump are such a force on the right side of the net. 4 arms and 20 fingers. Really good timing on both of their parts.
Meliano with the push set across to Menges, and Georgia Tech finds an opening.
Menges really getting hot too. 5 kills on the match so far, hitting just above a 214 clip.
Langer comes in and is set for the middle. And Grace Langer, Colorado native, gets the point.
It was great communication by Schrader and Langer, too. The set was a little bit tight, and Fiona Schrader really had to work to pop that out to Langer.
Service ace for Notre Dame. Just like that. Notre Dame with Lucy Trump on the attack. Proved to be successful once more. Otenye tools the block well and is back tied.
Otenye really good at finding the pocket as well. She defeated the triple block there. And when you have 3 players blocking at the net, it's hard to be able to defend the middle of the court beyond the 10-foot line. Really nice vision from Otenye.
Miliano gets it to Otenye. Sant with the dump. Bertolino keeps it alive. Irish keep it alive with a Gardy pass over. And it's Pierce on the slide in the middle. It really has to be given all credit to Bertolino for keeping that point alive.
Bertolino keeping everything alive, showing that she's the Swiss Army knife of Georgia Tech, whereas Schrader's for Notre Dame. Really nice play by Georgia Tech, everybody involved.
And another powerful stop from the Yellow Jackets. Push them up 2 here with Mogridge back to serve.
First time we're really seeing a nice momentum for them, taking the lead. 2 points is a big deal in set 2 when you're down 1.
Sant to Schrader. Gardy. How's it go out of bounds? And Georgia Tech continues on a 4-0 scoring run with Liv Mogridge at the helm. Mogridge will end her service attack there.
A rare miss from Mogridge, has 10 service aces on the season, going for that let serve, which means it just barely touches the tape. Almost great execution there, rare miss.
Miliano up to Otenye. Notre Dame and Hattie Monson keep it alive somehow. Bertolino gets it across. Irish will set in system for Schrader, who has it rejected at the net by Pierce. And Georgia Tech has come out with a 3-point lead heading into the media timeout here in this second set. Yellow Jackets trying to get tied with Notre Dame at 1 set apiece.
So what are you working on?
Something for the Garcias. Right there's great.
Ankle injury, got it taped up, steps back on. Brings a lot of experience onto the court for Georgia Tech, and it's shown so far in this second set.
That was a scary moment for Georgia Tech because originally to start the season, they were going to run a 6-2, had to go to the 5-1 due to another injury. And then what do you do when Emiliano goes down? But thankfully got her ankle taped and she's ready to go. Last season, she had the most assists in a single season, 1,348 to be exact. That was back in 2022. Something of note, too, is she played under current associate coach Vinny Beigen, so she has experience of playing with the Georgia Tech staff in more ways than one, in different environments as well.
Emiliano transferred in from Texas Rio Grande Valley and has brought herself that next level of play. Shelly Coley talked with us earlier in the week, understanding that getting to the ACC level, you can play at a high level, Division I level, but then get to the ACC level, it's impressive what she's been able to do.
She said she got to Georgia in the spring, which really helped her, but she's done everything she can to get the best out of the people around her, and you can really see that. She flies all over the court.
Miscommunication there between Velez and Otenye, who's going to set up the pass. Tenye gets through the block well.
There she goes, tooling that block again. Standing tall at 6 feet out of New Zealand. Last year she had 20 kills total in the NCAA tournament. Just shows how powerful of a hitter she is. She does really well under pressure too.
Monson gets it across. Velez sets it up to Bertolino. Miliano is off the court here for Georgia Tech. They're without a setter currently. Bjork is able to work it off the block. And just like that, Miliano will come back onto the court. Or Fisher, the right side hitter, was stumped in for her, and then a little bit of a miscommunication there. Who's gonna set?
Usually when your setter's out, it's always your libero who gets second touch, but the hitters know in volleyball, tale as old as time, you do not touch that second ball unless you're a setter, but Georgia Tech did a fine job communicating without their setter for the moment.
Miliano off the moving slide. Sant tried to get it across there. A straight up set for Bjork. What a set from Ella Sant.
Perfect on all levels, from the set all the way over to Bjork, who goes down line. Watch this replay. Right side of your screen, off the slide, uses all of her leg to get that really sound approach.
Monson has it come off the video board. Bjork gets it across. Miliano to Bertolino. Sant keeps it alive. Back up for Palazzolo. Miliano sets for Pierce. Menges comes across. Sant tried for the dump. And Bertolino, off balanced, gets Georgia Tech the point.
Off balance, she is still so efficient. Really hard hitter when she can use the full 10 feet from the 10-foot line. But when she's off balance, able to have more of a soft touch, almost like a tip, but can also look like a down ball too.
Velez. Palazzolo picks up the kill.
To put it in zone 5 like that, that's the back left of the corner. That's really tough because it's hard for defenders to tell whether it's in or out when it's in that back corner. Palazzolo, an expert at that.
Palazzolo leading both benches with 8 kills so far on the day. Tenye to Bertolino. Schrader gets it back. Mogridge has it rejected at the net, and the Yellow Jackets get it out some way. Otenye has it go too far. They were looking for a deflection.
That was a really great rally by Georgia Tech, but everybody out of system. It shows that they don't give up on that ball. Otenye still has a really strong hit from the back row.
It's on full display what both coaches were talking to us about earlier this week, understanding every point was going to be hard fought. It was going to be who could find themselves in system, out of system.
You talk about players that are willing to put their bodies on the line for this too. Both liberos in Velez and also Monson are on the floor in every play. Even the setters are on the ground in this match.
Trump pushes it too far. And it will be a timeout for Coach Salima Rockwell, with Georgia Tech 5 points away from evening the matchup at 1 set apiece.
This is almost a copy-paste from the first set, except the roles are reversed. Now you have Georgia Tech with the 3-point lead, Notre Dame taking the timeout, trying to ice out the Yellow Jackets at this point. Something of note was at the break, both teams had just under a 57% side out, showing that it is so back and forth for both of these squads. The long rallies has been a constant theme. These athletes are doing a fantastic job at keeping the ball in the air for a long period of time.
And for Georgia Tech right now, really coming in and leaning on the players who they thought would take them to the promised land, and Bertolino and Otenye, they have been really leaning on them thus far in this second set to try and separate themselves.
You talk about two veterans who have had so much experience, not only in a really tough conference, but how about the postseason? NCAA tournament appearances. You take a look at their stats on the season so far. Bertolino, 124 kills. Otenye leads the Yellow Jackets with 141 kills as well. Those are huge numbers, especially so early in the season. And they're versatile too. They have much more stats than just the kills. They can do everything, which is a testament to why Georgia Tech has been so successful this season.
Been really successful, and for Bertolino, now has 8 kills on the day. Otenye has 4 kills. Both of them hitting above 200 right now for the Yellow Jackets.
We've seen Bertolino pull out a couple of different hits from her tool bag as well. She's a hard hitter, but she's also had some soft hands as well this match too.
Gardy off the block. The timeout proves successful for the Irish.
Sometimes that is all you need, especially in a close match like this, just to get a couple of moments to regroup. Coach Rockwell is so experienced on the coaching level and on the player side too, knowing when her squad needs the break. It's always successful.
Schrader. Bertolino is able to sneak it beyond Gardy.
Bertolino, take a look, right side of your screen. There goes the soft hand again. A tip over the block because she wasn't able to tool at that time.
Menges has it come off the block, but goes out of bounds.
What a great response time from Menges to be able to hit the ball and directly follow it with both eyes all the way to the ground. She's so aware to be able to know and have the spatial awareness of where the ball is going. Really nice for her to let that one fall.
Menges really playing well right now. 6 kills, hitting at a .250 percentage with 5 digs on the night thus far. Georgia Tech stands 3 points back from closing out this second set. What does Notre Dame need to do to try and reinsert themselves into the conversation?
Well, right now, I think they need to look to their veterans, their veteran pin hitters. Sydney Palazzolo's had a really great game, so if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep feeding her since she's had so much success this match so far.
Both these two sides trying to send themselves into the intermission break. For Notre Dame, having 2 sets to their name, while Georgia Tech trying to fight for a 1-1 split. Coach Rockwell has shown it on the sidelines today. She has a little bit of nerves, it appears, understanding what's at stake, teams playing really well, and what's in front of them.
There's certainly a lot at stake, and when we talked to Coach Collier earlier, she said, I understand the opportunity we present to Notre Dame right now. If they were to beat us, they beat a ranked opponent. They understand how important this is. It's not just another conference game. This is the game where, as we mentioned earlier, Notre Dame can start to enter that ranked conversation, or at least, at the very least, start moving into the top half of the ACC.
And for Coach Rockwell, she told us earlier she understood the opportunity presented for Georgia Tech on the inverse, coming off an 0-2 start to the ACC, knowing they were going to swing angry, trying to get themselves back to winning in the ACC. Gardy off the timeout, gets Notre Dame the point.
think that's a really smart decision from both setters to be setting Gardy, to be setting Palazzolo. Both of those players coming off of really good weekends and showing that they've been so consistent.
Emiliano to Mogridge. And Mogridge gets the kill. As Mogridge, father Alan played football at UNC from 1996 to 1999. Currently an assistant coach on the Ramblin' Wreck Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket football team. Tenye gets it to Bertolino, has it rejected at the net. And Georgia Tech
Tenye has been such a strong option for Georgia Tech in this second set. She's using all of her space from the outside and using all of that power, not holding back.
Gardy gets it across. Free ball for Notre Dame to get themselves in system. Emiliano kept it alive with her ankle. Pierce came in, diving for it after it went off the net. And now Notre Dame with Gardy back to serve.
That's what I'm talking about with this match. You have setters on the ground using their ankles to keep balls in play.
As a little court maintenance here. Great work by our handheld operator, McDonald. Able to get that great play from Emiliano. Kicking her ankle out for it to save it. Menges has it go out of bounds. And now Georgia Tech will take a timeout. Recollect themselves with Notre Dame on the attack and the driver's seat on the serve.
The Fighting Irish doing such a great job under pressure. There was some sort of confidence about them when they were warming up earlier. Maybe it could be stealing a set from Stanford, at the time the #3 best team in the country. And then how about that win over Cal? They're coming off of a really good weekend of volleyball. Coach Rockwell pleased with their performance, with their production. Everybody getting involved offensively for Notre Dame too. I'd say despite the 3-point deficit right now, they're in a really good position.
And for Georgia Tech, they're in a good position as they are recruiting domestically and internationally. They are tied, like you mentioned, with Wisconsin for the most international players in the Power 4 conferences with 7.
Colombia's represented, Argentina, Brazil, New Zealand. Coach Collier herself has Brazilian heritage. She said that there's not really a difference in recruiting internationally. She said she recruits everybody the same, and she just wants the best players, no matter where they come from. They have better luck finding some of those high-level players internationally, and it doesn't hurt that she's from Brazil herself, an abroad player. She also said they have to take academics into consideration as well, because Georgia Tech has so many good programs.
Georgia Tech stands at set point, and they will get it there with a service error from Notre Dame to get things going. Emiliano has it quickly, and it gets over to Menges.
We're seeing Menges go down line. Usually she settles for the cross-court shot, but her ability to twist her body to the right side, go down line, and especially not utilize all her power but get a kill is very impressive.
Palazzolo gets it to Bjork. Georgia Tech keeps it alive. And Trump off the block. Gets the Irish their first point of this third set. Velez can't handle the serve receive, and Gardy with the free ball over the net sets it down.
And that's how you are a good defensive volleyball player. When the ball's not even on your side, extending your arms over the net just to ensure that that ball hits the ground. Really nice work by Gardy.
Service error there. Turns the serve to Georgia Tech. Bertolino. Bertolino last year was an ABCA honorable mention All-American. Schrader up against the pin, brings it back for Notre Dame. And Emiliano gets it to Otenye. And it'll go Georgia Tech's way. Off the deflection.
Otenye might have the most power of any player on this court right now. She gets so high in her vertical. I would love to put a speedometer on that ball and see how fast it is.
Gardy works it off the block. Gardy again for Notre Dame and gets the deflection this time.
Gardy just showing that she is really one to rely on. Coach Rockwell said that was the goal, for them to be able to rely on Gardy. And the good news is she has 3 more years here in the gold and white.
Tenye gets it across. Gardy once more. And the freshman is going to work, and it's becoming a Gardy party here in Purcell.
11 kills, hitting over a 231 clip right now, using every bit of that power to go through the seam of the block. She cannot miss right now.
Monson goes out sliding for it. He can't crash on it in time. And it's back time.
Liv Mogridge at the service line. Last year, in 2023, she played the first 13 matches, actually on an All-American pace, but because of injury, she missed 6 weeks. Good to have her back consistently from last season to this season and healthy, ready to go.
Yeah, hit .433 last year through 19 games played. Huge loss for the Yellow Jackets last year, looking to get it back here in 2024. That ball runs long for Georgia Tech. Gardy with a dying serve once it got across the net. Tenye has it rejected by Langer, and she's pumped up.
Langer has been such a force in the blocking position. I think that was all Langer. Schrader there for reinforcement just in case. Langer's proven to be a really strong force, putting up a wall all season long.
Grace Langer back in high school as an ABCA All-American honorable mention. Had originally committed to go to West Virginia with a coaching change for the Mountaineers. Decommitted, opened herself back up to the possibility of going somewhere else. Coach Selema Rockwell made a call, and Grace Langer found a fit here for the Fighting Irish, and it's a fit that's worked out for everybody.
A fit that will get other strong recruits to come into Notre Dame. I mean, you're talking about Langer, high school state champion out of Valor Christian High School, 29-0 undefeated season. She's used to winning, and you can tell from the excitement when she gets those blocks how meaningful it is to her.
Sydney Palazzolo gets a big point for Notre Dame to put themselves up too, with Hattie Monson to serve. Pierce will try again. Tenye hits the antenna, and Notre Dame.
Mistimed approach from Otenye, just couldn't quite get her footing in order to extend her arm to the right to put it away from the antenna.
Tenye off balanced. Menges gets the kill.
Menges now about to catch Bertolino with 8 kills on the match. Georgia Tech doing a great job at distributing their offense now. We've got Bertolino, Otene, and Mendes in the conversation. I believe they call him the three-headed monster out in Georgia Tech territory.
Palazzolo with a great swing there. And off the deflection.
And with that kill, Notre Dame now has 2 players in double-digit kills. Morgan Gardy with 11 and Palazzolo with 10, hitting almost a 400 clip.
Menges can't get it onto the hardwood. Macy Alexander streaking onto the court to serve. Serving specialist. Great swing there from Bertolino. Too far out of the reach of Monson.
It's a nice side out from Georgia Tech. This is the biggest lead that Notre Dame has had this early so far in the match. All of these players are tired. I mean, they're playing really tough volleyball, long rallies. Could be who has the most stamina at the end of the day, too, since both of these teams are so evenly matched.
Trump is able to use the block to her advantage. Oh, Notre Dame back in position 1 for them with Palazzolo serving. Miliano up to Menges. Schrader keeps it alive. Trump off the block. Palazzolo digs it out. Schrader brings it back across for the Irish. Gardy with a strong kill. Georgia Tech keeps it alive. What a rally between these two sides. Gardy once more off the block, and Notre Dame wins the hard-fought point.
Wow, now that is a volleyball rally with the cherry on top of Morgan Gardy, who's been one of the most successful hitters in the match so far. Her 12th kill. Very impressive performance.
Impressive by both sides being able to keep the ball alive and run out of system for so long. Bertolino has it rejected at the net. Emiliano, the setter, gets in on the action.
Emiliano has such a strong skill set. She's a setter who can be all over the place, but at the same time, she does know how to use the setter dump, and she will in those cases. Also has great vision of the court, too, knowing that that pocket of the court wasn't being well defended by the Fighting Irish at that time.
Service violation gives Notre Dame back the serve. Menges.
I think Menges called that one from the jump. A really nice set from Emiliano, and for her to have everything perfectly timed, from the approach to the swing all the way through, that was a bullet.
Schrader up against the net, sets for Langer, and Langer is able to find an opening.
Langer coming alive in this third set too, whether it's kills or being such a strong force in blocking. Notre Dame starting to utilize their middles a little bit more and look at other options.
Lucy Trump with the serve. Fellas receives. Otenye has it rejected at the net, and Notre Dame is feeling themselves. The Fighting Irish come into set 3 with a dominating start and are in full control.
You can say you were there when we did it. When America chose joy over anger, freedom over fear. When we chose our progress over corporate profits. Because this election is about 2 different futures. One where we control our lives, and one where they do. But we won't let them. Because we were there to vote Kamala Harris for president.
So what are you working on?
Something for the Garcias. Right there's great.
Love you, honey.
Thanks, Mom.
We've got 24 hours to get all of this under control.
Then you're gonna need these to Dad.
Oh, we can deliver that.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow. Get delivery at the speed you need only at the Home Depot.
Looking back as we went to break. Steven Shepard, the downward official, went over to the monitor as he's still trying to look at what we think maybe did someone come in contact with the net.
It looks like Grace Langer's elbow caught the middle. Let's take a look at this other angle. Well, there it looks like the ball caught the net.
Yeah. And that is what Steven Shepard will agree with and gives Notre Dame the serve back to continue on their run with Lucy Trump. Tenye. Gardy. Just keeps the gas on too long. And Georgia Tech off the media timeout, looking to try and return back. A little more court maintenance here, picking up the sweat.
Liv Mogridge patiently waiting beyond the line. Had a solid couple of games for her. 3 kills so far, hitting .429, although isn't in the triple-double conversation. She's really making a difference for her Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Making a difference here. Notre Dame finding themselves a difference right now with a lot of freshmen. Langer and Gardy here in this third set have separated themselves. Tenye as it goes out of bounds on the attack error, and it will be a timeout for Georgia Tech, and Michelle Collier talk things over with her Georgia Tech squad. It gives us a great opportunity to take a look at what is going around in the ACC, and maybe one of the biggest talking points right now with scores going on around is Boston College picking up the first set over the Pitt Panthers.
Anything can happen in the ACC. Pitt has not lost even a set yet. So they have a lot to lose right now. Boston College coming in hot, preparing for those Panthers. What an exciting night of volleyball we have Friday night.
That is going to be a match everyone's going to be watching to see how Pitt respond after losing one of their first sets all year in their first set in the ACC so far. SMU rolling after they were able to play a really solid weekend last, once again beating Georgia Tech on Friday. They stay out in front. Virginia right now with another setup against Florida State, a really strong Seminole squad that time and time again finds themselves in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
And something to pay attention to is how many small numbers are in front of these teams. Number 4, Louisville. Number 5, Stanford. This is a loaded conference. Anything can happen on any given night. And I think fans need to remember that we're still very early in the conference season. So some of these games are indicative of what's to come. But wow, what a competitive weekend of volleyball all across the country. We'll have to keep an eye on that Pitt game, Jake.
Definitely something you're going to want to watch for. Gardy gets it across the net. Emiliano up to Menges. Pierce gets it through. Langer tried to get out of the way.
There is a new rule in NCAA volleyball this year that once you've touched the ball on the first touch and you touch it again on the same side, that they will allow the double touch. So you saw Langer there go for it twice. New rule, and it's proven to be pretty effective across the country so far. Langer did her best to move out of the way there, but had she been able to move out of the way, that would have been within the rules. New in 2024.
Tried to hit the somersault there with the service violation. Hattie Monson with Notre Dame out in front and controlling pace of play in this third set. Harper has it rejected, goes out of bounds. Leah Harper, the senior outside hitter, seeing some of her first action today on the swing.
Played last weekend but didn't get any stats. She one of those players that can come in off the bench and be some fresh legs for the Georgia Tech squad.
Sant came across the net there trying to bring it back to get Notre Dame into system. Tenier serves and Palazzolo can't pass it forward.
Tenier, her 12th service ace on the season so far. Usually pretty consistent on the line. 12 service aces compared to only 9 errors.
Schrader with the kill. Schrader fell silent in that second set. Now picks up her 5th kill of the day. First kill since the first. Goes long on the attack for Georgia Tech.
Notre Dame has been doing a great job watching the ball too, knowing when not to go for it, when to let it go out. Bertolino just not able to swing all the way through on that. Not enough space for her to do so.
Emiliano off the court right now. It's Goolsby setting for Georgia Tech.
Important side out for the Yellow Jackets right now, with Notre Dame being so confident and building up at one point a 7-point lead. Now is the time to strike and capitalize on that run with Velez at the service line.
Schrader comes across the net there, and Georgia Tech picks up the point.
There's been a couple different jousts so far in this match, which just shows how great defensively both of these teams are as well. Always ready, always watching, and ready to tip it over if need be.
Schrader, direct set up to Trump. Dockery digs it. Monson's able to go to the scorer's table. And it will be a timeout for Salima Rockwell. Wants to quiet things down for her squad. Really starting to see their lead dissipate. There's a little bit of sloppy mistakes here that has allowed Georgia Tech to re-enter.
Georgia Tech hitting at 183, a little bit down from their second set, whereas Notre Dame is looking at 280. Had a really great night of hitting from the Fighting Irish, and a little bit of a slump these last couple points, but a really nice timeout from Rockwell to get her team readjusted and ready to go 3-point lead in the third set, though, is really nice for the Fighting Irish, who the theme all night has been potentially for them to get a convincing win over a ranked opponent. And on the other hand, for Georgia Tech to get their first conference win of the season so far.
Georgia Tech on a 3-0 scoring run. Shelly Collier talking with her squad, trying to hype them up, understanding how important it is this set. By going to have 2 sets to your name, you're in the driver's seat, while the other, whoever loses this set, has to try and play comeback kids here down the road.
Whoever loses a set, it's almost like playing defense the whole time, because you know you're down. And when you're in a game like this with such high stakes, the pressure, you got to add all of that in as well. How can you switch up the game plan? We've seen Notre Dame go to a couple of different offensive players. We've seen Georgia Tech switch out setters, putting Goolsby in for a couple of plays just to change things up as well. It's time to change up that game plan. It looks like both teams are following suit, which could make for an interesting set 4.
Schrader on the slide to Bjork. Palazzolo gets the kill.
Palazzolo having herself a wonderful night. 11 kills on the match so far, going back to the service line where she's comfortable. She's such a reliable player for this Fighting Irish. A really good get out of the transfer portal a couple seasons ago.
Trump finds an opening in the other corner.
The word that Rockwell uses to describe Lucy Trump is explosive. Using that whole entire approach, you see her arm is extended as far as it can go, so she's able to swing all the way through. Rockwell said that she wants Trump to expand her game a little bit more with not just the hard shots like you just saw, but also tips. She's blasting away when she's got a good swing, and she has the green light to do so.
That's playing really confident as of late, and seen her growth recently. Just the Notre Dame team looking to try and finish out this third set and head into the fourth set with 2 sets to their name. And right now, Craig Dyer, the associate head coach, talking over with Notre Dame. Sydney's talking to Palazzolo and their outside hitters. For Sydney Palazzolo, she's been playing really good volleyball today, Haley.
Sydney Palazzolo, Morgan Gardy, you can always rely on Schrader as well. Take a look at some of Palazzolo's highlights. She has every type of trick in her bag. She can hit from the middle, she can hit from the right side, outside, pass, serve. There's not enough room for all the stats that she's able to produce in any one given game. Just shows how great of an all-around player she is, which is so reliable for the Fighting Irish, because when you're able to be in each zone on the court, you know you have a reliable teammate and a reliable leader at that. Reached double-double territory, 11 kills and 10 digs for the high point transfer.
Free ball over the net, and what a play from Lucy Trump, changing directions.
Really nice eyes from Trump there to already be in blocking position, to be able to go up and put that back down on the floor with authority. Look at this right side of your screen. Not only did she put it down, but she angled her right arm a little bit towards the left, so that way Georgia Tech's defense would have no shot at being able to retrieve that.
Will be a challenge here with Steven Shepard to head to the monitor. Take a look at video review and look at Lucy Trump's play at the net, but Steven Shepard goes back over to the monitor, faked this out there a little bit. I thought he was coming away from it.
Looking to see if we have any contact with the net or a foot goes over the line. So far, it looks pretty clean from this angle. And the down official will confirm that. Sydney Palazzolo back to the service line.
Shelly Collier not happy with it. She was looking to see if it came back across with the direction it was coming on, whether it hit mid-court. Steven Shepard saying, came in contact with the hardwood on the Georgia Tech side of the net, and Mogridge with a big rejection at the net.
That was a really sound block. You know when the ball goes straight down to the court that she's exactly in the blocking position that she needs to be in. Such a strong presence in the middle and has been so consistent for the Yellow Jackets this evening and all weekend.
Schrader up to Trump, and Trump, who's got $1 million arm, shows off every penny of it.
There's that explosiveness you see. I think that word was so intentional to describe Trump because of the approach, because of how hard she hits. Knocked Otene to the ground in the back row, so you know that ball is coming at you fast.
Notre Dame at set point. It's rejected at the net. Georgia Tech keeps it alive. Trump pushing to the back corner. Georgia Tech will get it across. Lucy Trump can't finish it off, and Georgia Tech will try and make a comeback here.
Nice eyes from Georgia Tech defense, because sometimes it's hard to tell with Trump's approach where that ball is going. She's trying to place it in different spots of the court too, which doesn't make it any easier.
Schrader with the pass, up to Gardy. Velez sends it back across the net. Gardy's has it set down. Georgia Tech keeps it alive. And Menges with Georgia Tech winning a hard-fought point to keep themselves from going down 2-1.
This is a good game plan for the Yellow Jackets, to go to the player who's been so tough for them offensively. Go to your best when you're in the deficit.
Schrader over to Gardy, has it rejected. Langer with the push across the net. Monson with the pass once more to Gardy. Off the block, Menges gets it across, but it goes out of bounds. And Notre Dame picks up the third set. They have 2 sets to their name. Bertolino back for Georgia Tech to start things off, and it's a service error. And gives the Fighting Irish a point before they've even gone on the attack.
8 service errors for Georgia Tech tonight, but they're in good company. Notre Dame has 7, so evenly matched up in that category, which essentially just cancels each other out at that point.
On an island, Langer comes up huge.
Langer has been so sound from the middle. To be able to get a solo block in Division I volleyball is a big deal. That category is not as heavy for a reason, because it takes 2 to build a wall.
And it goes out of bounds. Notre Dame opening up this 4th set on a 3-0 run. And Bjork right in the driver's seat. Freshman middle blocker. Serves with pace. Eliano behind the back. Up to Menges. And tools through the block for the Yellow Jackets to pick up their first point.
Menges finding that seam in the block, which is really hard to do, especially when your blockers have perfectly timed approaches like that. Langer a little bit late.
Langer, flat-footed, has it go out of bounds.
Like the idea from Langer going for that zone 1 where the defenders for Georgia Tech were pushed up to the net, but wasn't able to turn her body and see the full court at that point.
Gardy with a big swing.
Gardy putting it in the back line, touch the tape. That's the definition of a perfect kill right there, when it touches that line. Really hard to defend.
Johnson digs it across the net. Emiliano sets to Pierce. That's been a combo that's worked for Georgia Tech all night long. It's Emiliano to Pierce in the middle.
Pierce is one of those sneaky middle blockers who she does a lot more than block. She's really effective off the slide. She's effective when she's by herself in the middle. That has been quite the duo this evening.
Notre Dame, another great kill. And Fiona Schrader involved in it, her 6th kill of the evening. Georgia Tech off the deflection, picks up the point.
When you want to hit for power, you look to Tamara Otene for that. Such a tough arm. Also got a great serve as well. Doesn't hold back on that power too often.
Palazzolo gets the point. And Bertolino is going to go talk to the upper official, Devaney McLarty, and ask for an explanation.
First time she's had to do that all game. There is one player on the court who is allowed to talk to officials, and Bertolino, being one of the veterans, is that person for today.
Pierce through the block.
Pierce really doing a great job perfecting that slide for the match. It took her a little bit in the first set, but now she's found her rhythm and comes in at the perfect time for this Georgia Tech squad to switch up their offense a bit.
Bjork tried to change up speeds, and Palazzolo just hits it.
I wondered if this would happen coming out of the break. 6-6, even matchup, set 4. A lot at stake here with Sofia Velez at the line.
Schrader has it rejected. Mogridge. Sant tracks it down. Palazzolo through the block. Sant will go back to Palazzolo, and it goes out of bounds. And Georgia Tech now puts themselves up 2.
Tried to go through the seam of the block there. That was lucky on Georgia Tech's end. The ball was coming so fast, nobody was in that corner. It just happened to be out.
Sant to Bjork on the slide. And a great call for Notre Dame. Giving a little bit of Georgia Tech their own medicine right back at them.
What's really cool about the slide play in volleyball is the ball has the ability to dance on top of the net because you're hitting it at such a weird angle and coming at it from a different trajectory.
Service error for Notre Dame. And Macy Alexander turns it over to the setter. And quarterback for this Georgia Tech team, and Emiliano.
Emiliano played all 39 sets for Georgia Tech this season. 17 assists and 5 digs versus the #1 team in the country in the pit.
Bjork is able to work the block. This 4th set has lived up to all the hype. Back and forth. It was Notre Dame to start, but Georgia Tech has made Fighting Irish work for every point thus far. Menges, what a kill from the sophomore.
She's been a part of that three-headed monster that Georgia Tech nicknames their top 3 hitters. Consistent, powerful, but at the same time shows such versatility on the court, which is key for a high IQ volleyball player like Menges.
Gardy with the swing and kill.
And with that, that's Morgan Gardy's 15th kill on the match. So patient. I love how she turned slightly to the right so that ball was able to go down line.
Eliano sets it to Mogridge.
That shows how strong Mogridge can be when she has a little bit of time. That was a really nice set by Emiliano, and for Mogridge to see that coming from a mile away, to be able to set up her offense really nice. Then her hits more powerful.
Gardy's just gonna have to get it across for Notre Dame. Menges, Langer. And Menges tools the block. And it'll be a timeout for Notre Dame. Georgia Tech here in this 4th set, playing like they need it, in which they do. Georgia Tech and the Yellow Jackets out in front here in set 4.
Some people just know that.
Really showing the depth that the ACC has right now.
Georgia Tech was ranked number 13th, but after those 2 losses last weekend, went down to 19. Still so impressive as they have an 8-3 record. But look at all the other teams in this conference. Number 1 team in Pitt hasn't lost a set yet. We mentioned that Pitt is playing tonight and was down a first set. That's a first for them this season. How about number 4, Louisville as well, 10-2. Georgia Tech has a date with them this weekend as well, going from one tough game to another. Coach Salima Rockwell has said, from here on out, every weekend gets tough. This is the ACC.
We told you about how Boston College was able to pick up a set against Pitt. Pitt responded back to win 25-7 in the 2nd set. Pitt Panthers really showing how they're one of the top teams in the country and are leading the ACC right now. Georgia Tech leading here in set 4. Notre Dame taking a timeout, trying to propel their momentum. Georgia Tech wins the point.
This is one of the Yellow Jackets' biggest lead of the game. I swear these teams are swapping sets because this is similar to what Notre Dame did in the 3rd set.
Tenye, season opening, and gets the kill.
Tenye, the All-ACC first team in ABCA and Volleyball Magazine All-American honorable mention last season.
Schrader to Gardy. It's over the middle. Langer is able to get her fingertips on it. Langer once more from Menges. Trump trying to go chase it down, but Otenye.
I think Otenye wanted me to finish my thought on her there. Led the team with 406 kills last year. One of few players to have a 300 kill, 300 dig season in program history. She's used to double-doubles as well, 14 of them last season. Performed really well in the NCAA tournament. Just a really strong leader for this Georgia Tech squad who's had a lot of touches, a lot of experience.
Another emerging leader on this Yellow Jackets team is Menges and what she has brought to her squad today. 13 kills for GT.
All ACC freshman team. Last season started in 30 out of 31 matches as a freshman. She's been pretty explosive for this Yellow Jackets team too. She likes to go for the cross-court shot, but she also shows that she can be versatile and go from the middle. She can go from the back row, and she's great from the service line too when she needs to be.
Menges putting together a very good night. Leading the way also with a 294 hitting percentage as well. High efficient night for her. Georgia Tech on a 6-0 scoring run right now.
Their largest scoring run so far of the match, and what a great time for that to come for them. When they're down a set, we talked about them essentially playing defense when you're down. For them to come out and kind of switch the narrative to starting to play offense, getting that confidence back. It's really come at a good time for the Yellow Jackets, who need this win. They need that conference win.
Mogridge to serve. Just what the doctor ordered for Notre Dame. Gets themselves to the service line, and Georgia Tech up 6, trying to hold on to force a 5th set. It's been Notre Dame throwing them through the ringer for the most part. Georgia Tech has been able to respond when necessary. Just after the service error, it's turned back over to the Yellow Jackets to serve. And with Notre Dame taking all their timeouts here early, Georgia Tech's gonna keep the pedal to the metal. Sant tracks it down behind the back, up to Schrader. Gardy off the block, and the freshman gets over the block some way and somehow.
Gardy was out for a bit to start this season. Rockwell said there were a couple full weeks of her doing nothing, but now that she's back, she is really developing that groove and rhythm. She can hit over the block. She can smother a ball when blocking. And Rockwell said the team can rely on her.
What a block from Langer and Palazzolo. And now a timeout from Collier.
Take a look at the timing from Langer and Palazzolo. I really like that duo. Langer a little bit late to the block, but it works out because you don't know where the ball is going to be in the air at the time. So your two blockers don't always have to be in sync. It's sometimes nice to have one half a second behind. Grace Langer, ranked 15th nationally, ABC All-American honorable mention.
And for Langer, she also is along with her freshman, Morgan Garrity, who's really stepped up. Gardy really taking that next step forward.
#1 Indiana recruit. How about this? #5 player in the nation by Volleyball Magazine. An All-American at Angola High School, just an hour and 20 minutes down the road. Team MVP all years, and she's had herself a night. 16 kills, hitting .256, 4 digs and 2 blocks to add to that. One of her best performances of the season.
Morgan Gardy talked about Angola, Indiana, around an hour and 15-minute drive from South Bend, and talked to Coach Rockwell in the preseason. How big was her pickup and her decision to commit here? She said it was huge because good recruits get other recruits to commit and understand that she sees the way for Notre Dame volleyball and wants to stay close to home, and plucked her right out of Big Ten country.
Big Ten country with IU down the road, Purdue, Illinois is not too far away. For her to go to Notre Dame, that makes a statement, and that makes this team so much better. And now they're having these great, convincing wins, a program that Rockwell's worked really hard to build and is coming to fruition.
Off the timeout from Collier. Notre Dame starting to find themselves. It's Georgia Tech still with a 4-point lead here. Otenye can't get it across the net. And Notre Dame now finding themselves on a 4-0 scoring run.
Mistimed approach for Otenye. She has so much power that sometimes if that power isn't leashed in that approach, it can cause you to fall over a couple times. A rare miss from her. She's been so consistent all game.
As Georgia Tech has done at points in the match, Miliano, their traditional setter, will step away for Ashlyn Goolsby to come on to set for the Yellow Jackets. Guarded with a service error. Gives Georgia Tech with Otene the opportunity to try and serve. Palazzolo through the block.
That's been a common theme for Palazzolo this game, going directly through the block. She doesn't even need to adjust because her hits are so hard that usually it goes off the thumb or the pinky of one blocker and able to drop right to the floor.
Sant keeps it alive. It's a point for Georgia Tech. Coach Rockwell looking to maybe go over to the challenge card. She'll pull away at the last second, not happy there. Thought her setter and Sant had gotten under it. Sant up to Schrader. Holsby does a great job to keep it alive. Sant will dump it off. And Palazzolo and Sant go crashing in, but neither can get there in time. Georgia Tech 5 points away from forcing a fifth set.
Bertolino giving Notre Dame a taste of their medicine there, tipping it right over when Notre Dame attempted that setter dump.
Palazzolo rejected by Mogridge.
And just like that, Georgia Tech in a great position, 4 points away from taking set 4 and forcing a set 5 with Velez at the service line.
Schrader keeps Notre Dame in it with a kill.
7th kill on the match, 25 assists and 8 digs for those of you on triple-double watch number 7 for the season.
Harper off the block. And Georgia Tech 3 away now.
I love to see Harper getting involved. This is her 14th set of the season for the Yellow Jackets. A great presence to come in off the bench, fresh legs. Haven't seen her in a couple other sets this match so far. Has a really strong arm, hard hit, and also not afraid to go through the seam of the block.
Miliano back into the game. She serves now. Mogridge changes direction with a free ball over the middle. Palazzolo receives. Dockery went chasing it down. Miliano behind the back to Menges. And it will go out of bounds off the block. And now Georgia Tech stands at set point. One point away from a fifth set here in South Bend. Miliano to serve it across. Palazzolo off the block. Velez to Menges, and Menges makes the attacking error.
Notre Dame will remain alive in the 4th set, doing a really great job at not succumbing to that pressure, playing every ball to the floor, following the ball to the line, hard hits. They're playing like it's the first point.
Velez with the pass up to Menges. Otene with a strong swing from the back row.
Similar to the 25-point game, you have to win by 2 in order to take home that overall match win.
Miliano with the serve to start for Georgia Tech. Palazzolo is able to get Notre Dame the first point of the 5th set.
I like how Palazzolo went down line to start, because usually she's great at the cross-court shot, but for her to twist her body and adjust to go down line when Georgia Tech's been used to her going cross-court all night, really good move from her.
Velez tracks it down. Miliano will just pass it across. Bjork is set for the middle. Monson. Otenye with Velez getting it across. Gardy has a strong swing. And Notre Dame up 2.
Morgan Gardy's going to mess around and have a 20-kill game. That's her 17th kill of the match so far, hitting just above 250. You see that total going up. She's also contributed with 4 digs, 2 blocks, been consistent from the service line as well. Having a stellar game for the freshman out of Angola, Indiana.
Velez will get attended to here, as she will get her fingers taped. Came off the collision with Emiliano on the ground, jamming her finger.
She's been playing so aggressive. You see her following balls all the way to the stands. She's been putting her body on the line for this team.
Service error for Palazzolo. Gives Georgia Tech their first point. Now Bertolino with an opportunity to go attack. Came in today second in the ACC in aces per set at just over half. Menez is through the block and gets the point.
That's what Georgia Tech volleyball looks like when they're perfectly in system. They have a lot more options, and what better option than Menges, who has been the player to watch in a force up top.
Carter with a great swing. Georgia Tech keeps themselves alive. Schrader tracks it down. Bjork. Notre Dame getting out of the way of it. The attack from Menges goes out of bounds.
Back and forth, back and forth. We're seeing long rallies, and I would say that theme will stay consistent for this match as well. Every point counts here.
Velez tried to go sliding over to receive the serve. It's an ace for Anna Bjork. Notre Dame looking for Salima Rockwell's big win in her tenure. Otenye worked it beyond the block.
Tooling the block really well from the outside, using her space, knowing where to put that power.
Emiliano sets to Otenye, goes out of bounds. Notre Dame gets the point. They're up 2 here in this 5th set. Service error turns it back off to Georgia Tech. Menges came in hitting .336, 6th best in the Power 4 conferences by a pin hitter. She leads the team with 16 kills. Tenye with a heavy swing. And it's Laura Fisher, the senior right side, who steps on to the court and makes magic happen.
This is the first time that we've called her name all night. What a great time to put her in. You got the fresh legs for the 5th set. someone who is used to coming in off the bench and being a key component for Georgia Tech in situations like this.
Bellas with the pass up to Otene. And Georgia Tech will win it off the deflection, and the Yellow Jackets now take the lead. Miscommunication, and Georgia Tech wins the point, and it will be a timeout for Salima Rockwell to talk things over with her squad. Georgia Tech up 2 here in a decisive 5th set.
The truth about
here in this 5th set, it's been back and forth all day long. Notre Dame won the first, Georgia Tech the second. And there was a repeat in the third and the fourth. Menges is to serve for Georgia Tech. They're up 2. And Rockwell taking the time to talk with her squad. And Gardy gets the kill. That's a point for Notre Dame, and a big one at that.
The look on Bertolino's face says it all. She was the lone wolf in the back row there as the rest of the defenders were covering.
Menges has it go out of bounds. And now Notre Dame off the timeout is tied with Georgia Tech at 7. Gardy with the serve off the tape. Emiliano drops it over. Otene back across with a laser. Gardy from the back row. Bellas to Menges. Palazzolo works the block. And Otene has it rejected at the net by the Irish.
Really nice play from Notre Dame. So sound in their blocking. Schrader and Langer. Langer has been the name we've been calling the most for the blocker. Middle blocker, that is her job, but she shows that she's been great at hitting, but her blocking especially has been sound tonight.
Langer leading the Fighting Irish with 5 blocks.
Leading the Fighting Irish and also leading the whole entire game. Liv Mogridge on the other side with 3 blocks, Georgia Tech's leader. But it'll be Grace Langer and Fiona Schrader with 5 and 4 blocks respectively for the Fighting Irish, giving Notre Dame that slight edge.
Otene changes speeds. Monson was already on the ground to cover. Pierce. Sam up to Palazzolo, and it's set down by the Yellow Jackets with Pierce and Otene.
Trading points back and forth. I would say 7 more points, but still have to win by 2. They'll keep going. If you can't win by 2, you can go up until somebody does.
Otene serves it into the net. And Notre Dame with Hattie Monson back to serve. Bjork gets it across. Schrader with a kill, and the Irish are starting to feel it with Michelle Collier taking a timeout.
Coach Rockwell is pumped up on the sidelines for that. Watch this kill from Schrader, going cross court but placing it just beyond the 10-foot line. That's a really tough corner to put it into. Nice job by Schrader to change up her swing a little bit for that.
Look at this. Notre Dame's last ranked win was against 18th Georgia Tech in 2021. Since then, and since Rockwell has taken over, Notre Dame has not taken down a top dog in the AVCA Top 25 poll. Could today be the day for Salima Rockwell to get that big defining win in her tenure?
Would be another thing to cross off the bucket list. Coach Michelle Collier for Georgia Tech saying how impressive that Notre Dame has been this season and how Notre Dame have really responded well to Coach Rockwell's coaching and said they're really rallying behind her.
And for Notre Dame, there's only 2 individuals that were on that team to last take down a ranked team, and that's Hattie Monson, the graduate student, and Lauren Tarnoff, the graduate student. The 2 of them, using their 5th year here in South Bend, stayed with the program when Salima Rockwell took over. They're on the team in 2021, and now here in 2024 trying to get a ranked win. Bertolino. Up to Palazzolo. And Notre Dame in Purcell Pavilion is energetic.
When you can start getting the crowd involved like this and you have a 3-point lead with 4 away, that could be the difference here for the Fighting Irish.
Watson with the serve over. And it's off the block. Georgia Tech responds, quieting the crowd, and sends Velez, their libero, to serve. A service error gives Notre Dame back the serve and puts them 3 away. Maisie Alexander onto the court. Bertolino finds an opening.
Bertolino starting to really hit hard too, finding her spacing when she's in the front row. Last play, she hit over the top of the block, and this play, she just unleashed her power on that one. Her hit is hard enough to where it can tool the block or it can go directly between both blockers.
Schrader behind the back to Bjork, and it goes out of bounds. Georgia Tech within 1 now. Miliano, their setter in the heartbeat of their attack. Trump. Velez goes tracking it down. What a dig from their libero. Monson tried to keep it alive. And Georgia Tech and Notre Dame are back tied at 12.
The MVP of that play goes to Velez for sprinting all the way to the back, almost to the bleachers, keeping that alive, risking a free ball, but still putting her all on the line.
Watch this dig right here. Velez had to go track it down. And a service ace for Georgia Tech, and it will be a timeout for Salima Rockwell with the Yellow Jackets up 1.
Just like that, we were talking about Notre Dame having a 3-point lead, but Georgia Tech with the 1-point advantage, 2 points to go till 15. Reminder, you must win by 2 in this situation. Rockwell getting her team fired up, looking for that first ranked win. Both teams want it really bad. That's been evident by the long rallies. That's been evident by both setters, liberos all over the ground. The hard hitting that we've seen on both sides. This has been a really fun and entertaining college volleyball match.
Both sides know what's at stake. For Georgia Tech, they could fall to 0-3 in the ACC with Louisville looming on Sunday. For Notre Dame, looking for their ranked upset since 2021. Georgia Tech in the lead by 1. You play to 15, you got to win by 2.
Notre Dame will up next face Clemson and then get on the road to play Miami. Whereas for Georgia Tech, number 4 Louisville, and then return home to face Virginia Tech on October 11th.
Miliano to serve for Georgia Tech, who's on a 4-0 scoring run. Thackeray receives the serve. Trump off the block, and we're back tied.
Wow. Keep feeding Trump. She's had a great weekend. She's been really sound on offense. This is a really good rotation for Notre Dame right now with Lucy Trump on the right side.
Sydney Palazzolo to serve. Miliano up to Menges. Gardy, the freshman. Velez digs it out. Menges sneaks it in the corner, and Georgia Tech 1 point away.
And putting their best server on the line in Bertolino.
Bertolino with the hard serve. Monson's able to dig. Schrader up to Gardy, off the block. Gardy once more. Otenye has it rejected. And it will be Georgia Tech who hold on to win it. But Coach Salema Rockwell will bring out the challenge card to watch this once more on the monitor. It was a call of a net violation. Is there enough on video evidence to overturn the call?
As close as this game has been, there haven't been too many challenges. They're awarded another challenge in the 5th set if they need to. Now here we're looking for a net violation, left side of your screen.
It will be a point for Georgia Tech, and the match is over. Georgia Tech holds on to beat the Fighting Irish in 5 sets. Notre Dame gave it all they had and come up just short of taking down the Yellow Jackets on this Friday night.
What an amazing college volleyball game for both sides. Notre Dame coming off a fantastic